All right, giving back to the community and helping other people has its obvious benefits, but research has found by helping others, you could actually be helping your own health as well. Dr. Joe Kostrich is here to explain now. Welcome, Joe. Research has linked some real health benefits to volunteering. Tell us more about this study.
Yeah, good afternoon, Jerry. Look, I think we all know almost intrinsically that when we do something that we feel is worthwhile and that is of benefit to others, that we do feel quite good. So researchers in Texas, I think they tracked about 1,500 people. This was done a couple of years ago, and found, probably again not surprisingly, but it's always good when these studies confirm what we suspect, is that mental health and physical health markers were about 10% higher in the group which were classed as the happy helpers as against other people. And these were people who'd been involved in any sort of community work, volunteer work, helping others, maybe at a school, like even the story before with the firefighters, they're giving up their time for a cause, anything where there was benefit to other people without necessarily being a direct or necessarily payment to the the individual themselves.
Well, aside from that more hands-on community service, you mentioned payment, and the study found that donating even small amounts of money had benefits too. How does that work?
Interestingly, I suppose it's just like, you walk past a tin that's being rattled in the shopping centre, or in the old days, coins into a like a water fountain, and you just feel a little bit better. You've made a contribution. Now, I think it is important that you're contributing to something that you feel is worthwhile, and there are a lot of different causes, and people are attracted to different ones. But it's not always the quantum of the amount, because you imagine, somebody who's a billionaire, for them to donate $1 million, obviously that's very good and helpful, but they probably don't notice it as much. Somebody who's, counting their pennies, to put even $5 into a tin, it does mean something to them, and they're doing it in a very deliberate way. So there's a feeling of contribution that comes, and again, a benefit to mental health.
Yeah. So I found this interesting. Apparently the motivation for getting involved doesn't have to be completely altruistic. You can be in it for yourself. Can you explain a bit about that? Yeah,
look, this essentially showed that what you're doing makes a difference. So the classic one is people who might be in university or doing a course, or even in high school, and they might be doing some volunteer work to put something on, to put on their CV. I know when my two were in high school, they were involved with the Red Cross food kitchen and other volunteer work, reading to kids at other schools who are less advantaged. So even though they might be doing it because they've sort of been told to do it, or because it might be for their CV, they're still experiencing the benefit, because ultimately at the coalface they're still doing it and getting the same experience.
Interesting. So generally speaking, do we underestimate the impact of our emotional well-being on our physical health?
Oh, absolutely we do. And I think it's a very critical point that the mind and the body are not separate. And, that's how stress works. When we feel stress in the mind, we can feel symptoms in the body. And, even through all of this issue with COVID, the impacts, for example, of children not being able to play with their friends, and I suppose I'm thinking more of Victoria at the moment, or, here, grandparents not being able to see their grandchildren's loved ones, not being in contact with family. That emotional impact is very significant, and we really do underestimate the effects of our emotions on our overall health and well-being.
All right, an interesting study, Dr. Joe Kostrich. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Jerry.